Welcome to The Night Before Tomorrow. I'm your host, Christian French. Stay tuned for an insightful interview with the Write It Down professor, Naji, Dahi, and more. It's the night before tomorrow. What's the night before tomorrow? It's tonight. I'm Christian French, your host, and tonight we have a politically charged show just for you. First, let us find out about our interview. Our interviewee has been teaching community colleges and universities for roughly 20 years. Professor of Political Science, Naji Dahi. Welcome to the show, Professor Dahi. Glad you could join us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, before we hit the heavier topics, let's briefly touch on the midterms. Any insight on the ballot, a proposition, or anything you can explain for the average confused voter?
My take on the ballot proposition is that if there's a proposition that is supported by corporations and they spend a lot of money on it, like Proposition 8, they're spending a lot of money, or Proposition 10, they're spending a lot of money, you're going to ask to have the question, why are they doing that? They must have a vested interest in spending all that money to get you to vote no. That's why I do my research, and when I did my research, I found that I should vote yes on these propositions. In the end, it's up to you. You do your research, and research does not mean watching television because all of the commercials are skewed one way or the other. You go to the Secretary of State website, and you will find the propositions. Each proposition is 2 pages long, and the rebuttals are another 2 pages long, 4 pages for each proposition, and then you have figured out what's going on.
Do you think that there will be a large turnout for first-time voters during these midterms?
Yes, specifically these midterms. Early voting is higher this election cycle than in the 2014 cycle. It is reported to be about 300, 400% higher than the 2014 cycle, especially among young voters and people of color.
Wow. Any advice that can help voters, new and old, for not just today's midterms, but for the future as well?
My advice is do your research the candidates, research the propositions, and in the end, vote your conscience. That's all that matters. Vote your conscience.
I love that. Thank you, Professor. Now, moving on from midterms, we'd like to touch on the subject of anarchists. And to start, why is that such a scary word for people?
Well, people associate the word anarchy with the theory of anarchism. In their mind, anarchism is chaos. That is not what anarchism means. Anarchism is basically a theory of self-governance, where people rely on themselves and they govern themselves rather than having somebody tell them what to do. Example, you're at a corporation, you're in a company. Rather than have a CEO and a CFO tell you what to do, hire you and fire you, you, the workers, govern the factory, and you decide yourselves what to do, what to produce, when to produce, how to produce, and where to produce, rather than having the CEO push you around. In a sense, there is a CEO and there is a CFO, but you vote for the CEO and the CFO. Pretty much it's like democracy at work. So anarchism is democratizing things, not chaos. The concept that it is associated with chaos comes with the wrong perception that anarchy is chaos. That is not true.
Well, why do anarchists cover their face at protests?
Fear. They are afraid of their government and the federal government because historically the federal government and state governments have attacked people who have been dissidents, who have dissented from the majority. They have been labeled as such, they have been attacked, they have been arrested They have been falsely accused. So I don't blame people for really covering their faces. I mean, there's a lot of shady things that the federal and state governments have done in the past.
Wow. Well, I don't blame you. I guess you're right.
Yeah, well,
You're right.
thank you.
Unfortunately, our time is up. We'll be right back with the game of Tweet or Lie after the commercial break. Stay tuned. We are back with Professor Naji Dahi, and we are about to play a quick game called Tweet or Lie. The rules are simple. I have a selection of tweets from Trump's timeline and tweets that are hopefully convincing enough to fool Professor Dahi. You tell me which tweet is real and which is a lie. Now let's play Tweet or Lie.
Let's play it. Let's go.
The United Nations has such great potential right now, but it's just a club for people to get together, talk, and have a good time. So sad.
Tweet.
Correct. Happy birthday to the sad, washed-up loser, Kathy Griffin, unemployed and failing.
He hates Kathy Griffin, so I have to say tweet.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Aretha Franklin, a nobody with one hit song.
Lie.
Correct.
Even though he said that she worked for him once. He did say that.
Somebody please inform Jay-Z that because of my policies, black unemployment has been reported to be the lowest rate ever recorded.
Tweet.
That is correct.
He brags about low black unemployment.
That is correct. I have never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke.
Tweet.
That is a tweet.
Wow.
That is a tweet. Congratulations to Tommy Lauren. #1 show. Would be #2 if Arnold wasn't a sad host.
Tweet because he hates Arnold.
It's a lie. After Friday's Twilight release, I hope Robert Pattinson will not be seen in public with Kirsten. She will cheat on him again.
I would say that's a tweet.
That is a tweet.
That is a tweet.
That is really a tweet.
Okay.
Happy LGBT month. Make America great again.
I would say that's a lie.
That is a lie.
Yeah, because he doesn't like the LGBT people.
Just opened the failing New York Times. Fell apart in my hand. Cheap. Failing business, making failing paper. Sad.
Lie?
That is a lie.
That is a lie.
That is a lie.
Even though he hates the New York Times.
Actually, throughout my life, my two greatest assets have been mental stability and being like really smart.
Yeah, that's a tweet. He brags about his brains all the time. Even
That
though.
is a tweet. Never get tired of winning. Something the corrupt left have never felt.
That is a tweet.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Alrighty. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you
I
very
had a
much.
great time.
Thank you
for
for having me.
joining us on another episode of Night Before Tomorrow. Please join us as next week we'll have another exciting guest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.